So how is Astrid adjusting to this new world that we're in now in season 5?
She seems to be the most well-adjusted character in the television show, I think. And so you can really see that in season 5. I mean, she's still keeping everybody together, and particularly Walter, who is even more fragile, I would say, in this season than he has been in past seasons, which is saying a lot. But everything is, I think maybe she's just so intrigued by the fact that she is living in the middle of a real fringe event, kind of. Whereas before, she's always seen the results of fringe events and, you know, working towards solving these, you know, weird, bizarre things that are happening. And she met her doppelganger, which was cool, but she's never, her environment hasn't been, you know, completely uprooted because of fringe before. And I think that she's really into it, which is weird. Like, I'm sure there are parts that are really scary and everything, but for the most part, I think this is like the biggest opportunity that she has had to really have her hands in the middle of trying to save the world, literally save the world.
What element of the new world is the most challenging for her?
That's a great question. I'm going to say probably she doesn't have the ability to be anonymous anymore. The way she used to, you know, she worked with the Fringe team and she could go out and do whatever she needed to and come back to the lab. And now because they're all wanted, she doesn't have the freedom to leave unannounced. Nobody does, really. And so, you know, there are times, of course, when Walter wanders off, as he does, and it's even more difficult when he does that in this new world than it ever has been before. So I think that that's probably the most difficult thing, that they're basically living undercover. I don't know what they're eating there. There's like one scene where they were eating egg sticks. Yeah, you guys saw that. And I'm assuming that it just gets worse from there. So she's probably tired of being undercover and really hungry.
Aside from fighting the observers, what can you really say about Astrid's journey this season? Is there anything you kind of really hope to have her do or see or experience, or that has happened already you can tease?
Well, she is probably, you know, like we thought that last year was going to be the season where Astrid gets out in the field more and she's got her gun and everything, but season 5 is definitely this season where she's out doing stuff, because I mean, it's kind of like there are 4 good people in a world of bad people, and so that's a lot of responsibility. So they need her. I say that every season. They need her more than ever. Season 5, they really need her more than ever. And she's not there just to help Walter, but she's there helping Peter and Olivia and Etta. Like, she's there helping everybody do all these really important things. And because they have to do everything in kind of stealth mode, they're like fringe ninjas now. And so that's...
Fringes.
They're fringes. Thank you very much. Nice. That's going to be trademarked, I'm sure. So her role is even more pivotal than it has been before. It's, you know, she's happy to be where she is and she's happy to help save this world. But this is a very tragic story to have, you know, this young woman with her whole life ahead of her having, you know, kind of like 20 years taken away from her life where she's been frozen. And you know, what possibly could have happened in those 20 years? She might have had kids, she might have gotten married or something, and I don't know, that's, I think that's a real testament to what a cool character she is, that she doesn't, I don't think that she is so, I don't want to say self-involved, because I don't think it's wrong to want to have a family and do those things, but that's not her priority. Like, whatever she imagined her future would be, it doesn't really have that much weight in terms of what day she's actually living, and that's a kind of cool quality for a superhero to have.
So if Astrid wasn't really involved in Walter making the tapes, how is she now going to help him remember things?
That's a great question.
Utilizing them.
They're trying to figure that out. Because what happens is that these tapes are pretty much all out of order, and so they're having to piece, it's kind of like this puzzle that's been scrambled and thrown apart everywhere, and so they're trying to put it all together in a way that makes sense and is cohesive. But a lot of the tapes are damaged because they've been stuck in amber. So Astrid's biggest role in terms of the tapes is she has to watch them like over and over and over again. This is a VCR. Okay, so Walter, for whatever reason, when he made these tapes, didn't use like a flip video camera, which I know existed at the time. He could have stuck them on YouTube or something. Yeah, he didn't do that, and so there's a VCR, and we all know how crappy VCRs are. So there are a lot of scenes of Astrid like fumbling with the tracking, the tracking wheel on the VCR.
So it's like a 1970s VCR.
It's an old VCR. And he filmed it with an old tape recorder. So there's like a lot of, fuzzy stuff, and then the tape rolls, and then his voice will like slow down a lot and get stretched out. So there's just tons of her having to decipher what it was he said. But there actually is one pivotal scene where they can't figure out what it is that he's saying, and she's looking at this tape over and over and over again. And she figures out exactly what it is. And I think it's because she knows him so well. Like, they're 2 peas in a pod without the third pea. Yeah, so she's, and the other thing that she does that's really helpful is that she's got steadier hands than Walter has, because she doesn't have as many drugs as she does. So she's able to kind of use this laser to pull out all the tapes and try and keep them as undamaged as humanly possible. So.
Well, given how close Astrid and Walter are, what is his new mental state going to do to that relationship after the premiere?
He's in a really rough space, emotionally and mentally, and I think that he ends up having to rely more on Peter than he has allowed himself to do in future seasons, for a reason that you'll understand probably about halfway through the season. And so because of that, I think that he's not pushing Astrid away, but she's not the confidant that he has needed her to be for such a long time, and that actually gives her a little bit more space to go out and do stuff and be hands-on with what needs to get done. I mean, there are times when like the whole team isn't together, everybody's off doing work, and they're, on their comms telling everybody, this is what I found, what did you find? Oh no, that's not good, oh that makes sense, let me get this. Like, they're kind of working by themselves a little bit, and that has good parts and bad parts to it, because there are times when Walter needs somebody there with him, and not everybody is there with him, including Astrid. So their relationship is a little bit different, but he's going through stuff that she's not entirely aware of. She's not privy to everything that's happening with the Fringe team members, and they are really into some crazy stuff this season.